Hi there, and welcome to this episode on Databricks. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about volumes in Databricks. We're going to understand what exactly is Databricks volumes, and of course, the two types, and when, as an organization, do we use the managed or external volumes. So let's get started. Basically, a Databricks volume is a unified way to manage data storage in Unity Catalog. They provide a structured, secure interface to access files within managed or external cloud storage. Volumes simplify working with structured, semi-structured, or unstructured data, which allows direct files access using standard paths and Spark APIs. So we have two types, the managed and external. So the managed simply means the Databricks actually manage the life cycle of the entire files in your volumes. That simply means when you delete your managed volumes, every files are automatically deleted. But for the external volumes, this simply means that this is managed externally, maybe in your Azure storage account or in your AWS S3. So this simply means when you delete even the files in Databricks, you still have the file retained outside of Databricks for other things. As an organization, when do we use the managed or external volumes? If you need Databricks to fully manage data, for example, for training ML models, ETL outputs, then you can use the managed volumes. If you have existing data lake and you want to avoid copying data, it is best to use the external volumes. So having said all of this, let's go into how we can create the managed and external volumes. To get things started, I'm going to create the managed volume and load some sample sales CSV files. To do that, I'm going to first swipe to my catalog, and I've got this Databricks workspace, and I'm going to expand. I've got this external volume schema and the managed volume schema. So we're going to be creating the manage into this database, that is the schema, and then external into this schema. So I can use the SQL editor to write all of this because it works with standard SQL. So basically, I want to navigate to this Databricks workspace, Unity catalog, and of course, I'm going to choose the managed volume schema. So I can just write my create volume, and then I'm going to give this a name. I'm just call this one managed volume. I'm going to just put in a comment. So inside the single quote, I want to say creation of my managed volume. I'm going to select this code and click the run selected. Okay, so this has been created. Now I'm going to swipe to this Unity catalog and I can expand the managed volume schema, and there we go. We have the managed volume. Excellent. Now I can come back to the catalog and I can again click on that, expand, and I can click on this, and I'm going to see the option to upload to this volume. So basically I just want to upload maybe sales 2022, and I'm going to click on upload. So this is now uploaded as a single file, and I can see the overview. So when I come to the files, I can see the sales 2022 underscore upsat.csv. I can click on that and I can see the content. Excellent. Now, when I come to the details, I'm going to see that this is a managed volume, and I can see the resource name, the storage location, the volume, and so on and so forth. Excellent. So it's actually easy to create a managed volume. Now let's go ahead and create the external volume. So for that, we need to actually do some configuration from the portal.azure.com. So I'm going to navigate to this place. We want to create the access connector for Azure Databricks. So I can see that here. Now, in the case if you're able to see that, just come to this and search for access connector and just give this a click. And we're going to see this Unity Catalog Access Connector, which is created by default when you create your Azure Databricks service. So I'm going to create my own. Click on create, and I'm going to choose the resource group name, and I'm going to call this one DB connector, and I'm going to maintain the UK South region, and I'm going to click on review plus create, and it's going to be validated, and I can click on create. Now, after we've done that, we need to grant this newly created connector the storage blob data contributor on top of our Cornerstone storage account. So I'm going to come here and I want to click on this Cornerstone ADLS storage account, which is a storage account type. So click on that, and then I want to go to the access control, the IAM, and I want to add a new role assignment, and I'm going to search for storage blob data contributor, which allows me to read, write, delete, access to Azure Storage Blob containers and data. So I'm going to select this and click on next, and I'm going to select the manage identity as the assigned access to, and I'm going to select the members. So I'm going to choose the access connector for Azure Databricks. Now we have two. So the one we just created and the default Unity catalog that was created automatically. So I'm going to click on this and I can see the DB connector. So I'm going to select and then click on select. So I can see this is being populated here, and I'm going to click on review plus assign. And once I'm fine, click on review plus assign again, and we have this role assigned. I can click on this role assignment, and when I scroll down to the bottom a little bit, I can see that we've granted the access to the access connector. Excellent. Now I'm going to swipe back to my Databricks. So I want to go to my catalog and I want to click on this. So basically, we want to create a credential which is needed to authenticate and authorize accessing of data in stored Azure Data Lake or S3 for AWS. So I'm going to click on that and then I want to click on create credential. So this is going to be a storage credential and it's going to be an Azure Managed Identity credential type. So for the name of the credential, I can use this one credential, or let me just use my underscore credential. And then for the access connector ID to communicate to the storage account, I'm going to come back to this and click on go to resource. So you can see this is now created. So I can give this a click and this is the resource ID, the same thing as the connector ID. So I'm going to come back here and paste, and this user assigned managed identity ID is an optional stuff. So click on create. And we can see successful, your storage credential, my credential has been created. Excellent. Now we want to go ahead and create external location which would allow us to access data stored in Azure Data Lake Storage. And I'm going to click on this plus sign to create a new external location. So for this, I'm just going to call it on ext location. And this is going to be an Azure Data Lake storage type. And I'm going to provide the URL which must contain this ABFSS protocol with the name of the container and the name of the subject account and the dfs.core.windows.net. Now, before doing this, I'm going to quickly select the my credential that's created, and I can see the connector ID populated and the user assigned managed identity. So for the URL, I'm going to type in ABFSS protocol and then colon // and then I need the name of the container. So I'm going to come here. I can see the name of the container is Databricks. So I'm going to come here and type Databricks ads, and then we need the name of the storage account. I'm going to come back again. I can see this is Cornerstone ADLS. I'm going to come back here and paste, and I can get rid of the space and I can type in the dot. So we need the dfs.core.windows.net. I'm going to select all of this and press Ctrl X to cut, and I'm going to paste in this URL. And once that is sorted, I can put in a comment, but this is not compulsory. I'm going to click on create. And successful, your external location that has been created. Now I'm going to click on the test connection just to make sure that I'm able to see the success for the read, list, write, delete part exists and the hierarchical namespace enabled. Absolutely cool. So this is done. So once this has been sorted, I can always come to this browse and I can see in some other files maybe that I load. So I'm going to quickly go back to my SQL editor, and now we want to create the external location. So I'm going to just select all of this and copy that. Let me put in a semicolon and paste. So to create an external volume, I'm going to just type in create external. So that's going to differentiate this from managed, and I'm going to just call this one external as the name. Now I'm going to store this external volume in the external volume schema, and I can go ahead and put in a location because this is not a managed, so I have to provide a location. So in a single quote. Now to get the location, it's so straightforward. I can come back to the catalog and I can click on this cog and I can go to the external location and I can click on this X, and this is the location, the URL that contains the ABFS protocol. So I'm going to copy that and I can come back to my SQL editor and I'm going to paste inside this single quote. And once that is pasted, now I actually want to create a directory within this name of the container. I'm going to call this one external underscore dir. So now this directory is actually not present. When I quickly navigate here and I go in here, you can see I don't have any directory. I just have the name of the container. So this simply means that the directory will automatically be created after this succeed. So I'm going to select this and then run the select, and we're going to see the OK, which tells us that the stuff has been created. Excellent. Actually, I forgot to create this, but I can always forget about this. So I'm going to come to the Databricks workspace and go to the external volume, and I can see the external volume created. Excellent. Now we don't have any files, so I can come to the catalog and to load files into that. I'm going to select that again, so external, and then I can click on that, and I can see the upload functionality, and I'm going to click on the browser. Now I'm going to load the sales 2024, and I'm going to click on upload. So once that is loaded, let's come to the external environment that is in our container. So for now, I've not clicked on refresh. I'm going to click on refresh, and bam, we have the external dir directory created, and I can see the sales 2024. Absolutely awesome. I'm going to come back again. I'm going to load the 2025. So click on that. I can double click on upload, and I can see that here. So when I come here, I can just step aside a little bit, click on refresh, bam, we have the data in the storage account of the container. Absolutely fantastic. Now another thing you need to pay attention, or what you need to pay attention to, now you need to actually understand something, that when I come back to this place, unless I want to delete this sales 2024, and I can see the option to delete. So as soon as I delete, of course this is going to be deleted in the external directory. So when I come back here, I can see the 2024, click on this refresh. Of course it's going to be deleted because this is a delete operation, not drop. So when you delete a single file, that's going to be deleted in the external location that is in the container. So you have to understand that. So I'm going to quickly come back here, and I'm going to come to the files. So when I come to the files, I can see the files again. I can also upload. Let me just upload the 2023, not 2024, and double click on upload, and this is now uploaded. Now there's an option that allows me to create table from this. For example, if I want to create a delta table from this cell 2023, I can click on this only, and at the bottom I can see the option to create table. So when I click on that, I can see where to put the table. Let's say I want to put the table in the same catalog, and I want to put the table in the same external. So there we go, and let me just modify the name of the table. So I can see the preview of the table, the columns, the sales ID, sales date, customer ID, product, and the amount. So I can click the create table. So this is basically how we can create table from a volume, which is super easy. So in a matter of seconds, the table is now created, and I can see the overview, the columns, I can see the sample data, and I can also see the details. So click on this. So now this is going to actually create a managed table, despite the fact that the volume is an external volume. So I can come back here, just refresh, and I can see the table, and let's quickly verify whether this X volume is an external or not. So I just click on that again, and when I come to the details, we can see this is an external volume. Absolutely correct. And when I come to the files, I can see all the files. Now let's go ahead and drop the managed and external volume and see how they both behave. So I can come to the SQL editor, and before I write this statement, I'm going to just expand this so that I can see the manage. So let's deal with the manage first, and I can see this is the manage. So I can just write a simple drop volume, and I'm going to just specify the name. Now before I do anything, I'm going to switch this to the managed volume so that I can actually access everything without having to specify this name again. So I can just provide the name. Now the name is manage volume. I can click on this double arrows, and it's going to automatically populate all of this for me, and I can delete this part, and this is the name, managed volume, managed volume. So I can select this and then select or run this, and that's gone. When I come back here and I refresh, so again, I'm going to refresh again, so you can see the volume is now deleted because it is managed by Databricks. Now let's go ahead and drop the external volume. So I'm going to quickly switch this to external, and I'm going to expand. I'm going to expand the volume, and I can see the name is external. So I can get rid of this, or let me just modify this and call this one external. And I'm going to select this and run the selected cell. Of course, this is going to give me OK, and when I come back here and I expand this schema, you can see the volume is now deleted within Databricks. But when I come to the container and I refresh on this, I'm still going to see the two files. Now, don't forget we've deleted the 2024, so I can still see the 2023 and 2025. It doesn't matter when I go back and I click on this refresh, I can still see the external DRL and I can see the two files. Now, the reason is because Databricks is not in charge in this case. So this is being managed by the Azure Data Lake storage, and this is different between the managed and external volumes. So as I've said, using the managed or external volume would depend on the data strategy of your organization. So I trust you enjoyed this video. If you do, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.